All right, folks. Gonna do a couple streams today. This first one is I want to make one more plastic, maybe two more plastics, specifically the one that covers right underneath here. And then I need to set up toolpath so I can cut all these plastics out. Um, because I got plastic today and I can cut things. So the second stream today is going to be cutting the plastics out, getting them assembled, like all these little plastic ramp subassembly things here, getting all these assembled, and getting prepped for tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be putting these things on, testing everything, playing the game, seeing how it works so far with this new stuff. But yeah, so let's get started. Like I said, I want to do the plastic that's over here because the plastic here, let me hide the pumpkin for a second. The point of the plastic right here is to add as kind of a bounce reflector so this target here doesn't fly all over the place. So it's going to kind of loop across these two pieces here and get bound between these three posts, but it's also going to wrap up and around a little bit. So the post here, it's going to wrap up to this post down here. Zoom out. This post around here, maybe kind of diagonal around here, so the ball doesn't bounce and reflect in weird ways underneath this. Down to this post, across to this post, and kind of up and around where the pumpkin hole is. I don't want it to cover this whole area because first off, the pumpkin protects most of this back here. Secondly, if you need to take this plastic off for one reason or another to get to this target or to this rubber or something like that, if it's bound inside of with the pumpkin like pipe going through it, now you need to take the whole pumpkin assembly apart, and I really don't want anyone to have to do that. So that's the idea there. Um, this section here, I mean, this is going to be a bit of a tricky section, and I'm going to do this sometime in the future. This is probably going to be a sculpt, like a formed sculpt that kind of covers around this whole area as like a bulbous thing. Think Whitewater Mountain type of thing. So if I do that kind of thing around here, that also binds over here. So it's like this interesting sculpt bulbous thing that'll protect this. Either that or it's going to be a vertical piece of plastic that just kind of comes across here. That might be the simpler thing to do. That way, if the ball flies up, it won't harm this assembly here. Anyways, this plastic. So I'm going to call this plastic pumpkin front blocker, I think. Oh, I don't actually have something for plastics. So I will create a new folder. New. Really? Really? I thought I could just add to new folder. Why am I not seeing new folder? All right. Well, at one point you could create folders. I don't know where that is right now. I'm not going to waste half an hour trying to find it. So for the time being, I'll just say insert component. This is going to be called plastic pumpkin front target deflection. Yeah. And we'll save this in the external file. Okay. This guy, let's put it into position. Let's move. Let's make parallel to the top of the play field. And then let's move it. Basically to the, I'll put the origin kind of in the center here so I roughly know where the circle should go. And yeah, let's edit the component and start sketching something out. So as I said, there's 4 points of interest, really, that I need to worry about on this plastic. There's this left up sketch. There's this left post, this upper post here, this right post, which I'll worry about in a minute, and this lower post, which I'm going to bind it to. Now, this post, I'm not going to put a circle on this yet because I'm just going to draw the shape, not the through holes. The shape isn't going to go anywhere near here. I want the shape to cut more diagonal across here, again, to deflect or prevent the ball from flying up on this thing. But these things, they can all connect in, well, in a basic way first. And then I can worry about the more complex connection in a minute. This is gonna, he is gonna come up a little bit there, and is gonna kind of come across the circle here, and back down to this. And I don't want you to be whatever perpendicular crap you're doing. Okay. And this point actually probably can go to the 0 point. That might make sense there because this can pull up like over here. And again, the pumpkin's going to be largely around here, so the ball isn't going to get under this. Actually, this can come under this way more. Yeah, let's not bind this here. I'm going to do something different with this. I'm going to make this. Actually, if I take this and put this in the middle here, make this bigger than that hole. So let's see, 1 and 3/4, and then I can trim this, this, and this. So see how that just kind of comes around the hole a little bit. Pull this up like that. This doesn't even need to be like this. This can be literally like just tangent to this. This does need to come up a little bit higher because there's some points back here that it needs to protect against. And all these need to be tangent. Make sure everybody's tangent. Then I can resize this stuff to be around the posts. That buzzing every 2 seconds. Or I forget, I need to do something else. Here we go. All right. Yeah, so this needs to be tangent all around here. And here. Not tangent to that, tangent to this one. Tangent. Yeah. Okay, someone's attached to what they're not supposed to be. Get rid of that. Oh, what is your problem? Are you also? Oh, come on. Become tangent. Thank you. All right, so now all of these circles are going to become equal. and they're going to be shrunk down to 0.5 inches. Is that where? Yeah, 0.5 inches. So it just kind of goes right around the post, and it shouldn't get in the way of anything. So now you can see up here, this is probably going to need like another curve along here. Let's do a tangent curve there. Then this can come down to here. Oh. This comes up here a little bit more to follow along that guide. This curve. Yeah, let's make you tangent. So that just kind of protects against there a little bit. This also needs to become a tangent arc. Not sure I want one, but... And this tangent arc is going to be a little different. Because, again, remember, this actually needs to be a couple different points, doesn't it? I want this to come across... Actually, this can probably come over to here. And then up. So let's try this just for funsies. That's gonna be yeah. Let's try this. So if I make this go onto here, this become tangent to that, then this and this are equal. So I can't just pull this straight across because I get this thing here, and there's all kinds of wires and everything coming off of that. So this is gonna then come up and across that. But I'm going to make sure it's actually attached to the correct point, not this. And then this, of course, needs to be tangent. These. So this is just one more bind point to secure things a little bit more. And let's add a curve around here. Yeah, that'll work. Let's add a curve around here. 1/8 inch curve maybe. Yeah, 1/8 inch curve should work okay. What's 1/4 inch look like? Half inch? Half inch will even work okay. That can be a half inch curve. And I pull this in a little bit more. Yeah, I can pull that in a little more like that. So this line stays kind of... No, don't do that. I like where you are, so you stay there. I want you to come up a little bit more here. That's good. And then I want you to come on. Let's get rid of that. That's causing problems. I want you to come in a little bit more like here. Again, this is going to prevent the ball from doing some weird things way back here. It's not going to get in the way of the spinner, which is good. And this whole thing will be bound together in these 5 spots. This curve then comes up and around, which is fine. And then this whole thing can just slide right in you know, right in this section, because it's going in and around the pumpkin. It's not going through or the pumpkin isn't going through it. And for completeness, let's just curve this a little bit, because that's fine. All right, what is this curvature now? It's 1 1/8 will work pretty nicely. Good. Okay, so that's all these curves. So now I'm going to get rid of this extra bit around each one of these posts that I don't actually want. That works good. I can probably make this curve 1 1/8, 1/8, just around there a little bit. Then that'll be underneath the ramp flange and everything, which is fine. Pull this up like... I definitely don't want that. Maybe it makes sense to pull this up and over a little bit. That'll weaken... No, that won't really weaken it a little bit. But that'll protect that section and make sure it's fully out of the way of the ramp. So I'm going to do that. So let's say this, this, this. This way I can trim this, then trim this, make sure this is not tangent with the wrong thing. Make sure this is not collinear. All right, I'll just delete it then. Sure, that works. Also, I need to make sure this is not tangent with the wrong thing, which is good. It's not. This and this do need to be tangent. This is now going to come this way more. This is going to come more vertical. Here, make this vertical. Let's make this tangent. Okay. And then let's add a small fillet in here. That's good. And then let's fix this spot because I want... No. I want this spot. No. You're in the angle I want you to be. Why? What is going on here? Okay, they fixed. Now I can drag this. Yay, there we go. I want you to come up more like this. Yeah. All right. That covers in that spot pretty decently. This section over here, I don't really like this. I will go curve here. I'm going to go straight. It's going to be up more to here. This is going to be tangent. There. It's just going to follow this guide a little bit more. And then I'll put a curve here. Just so that looks better to me, I guess. I mean, again, it doesn't matter too much because the pumpkin... Where's my mouse? Come on. The pumpkin is going to be covering the lion's share of this area. There is going to be a little section over here it's not covering. And having this come all the way over here technically means... well, I should have a post over here, in theory. like right underneath this flange or something. Or actually, I don't even need a post there because they have posts at all these other places. On this piece of metal, I can have a tab that comes down this way, and that can just add as like a lip that the plastic can't bend down into, so you don't need to bind anything over there. Just got to make sure it's above the lip, which it should always be above the lip when it's bound to these other pieces. Okay. And I don't want these to be bound onto this stuff in this way, so I'm just going to delete these associations and fix them. So that should be all of it. So now I don't have any external associations. Awesome. Extrude 1/116th. Okay. Now let's make a new extrude cut sketch on the top of this. We'll now make the, ow, my nose is itchy. We'll now make all these screw holes. The binding points, fixing points, fasten points, that's the word I'm looking for. All equal. And these are all going to be 3/16. Hey, why are you not all equal, guys? I said all of you. Be equal. Thank you. And again, I'm going to get rid of the external association for everything. And one other thing I could do if I so chose to is, because of how this is set up, hang on, let me cut through this. If I so chose to, I could extend this plastic and loop it around here a little bit. Just all part of the same plastic. And I could take this plastic, curve this in, and just protect against this a little bit. Let me put it in the correct spot, because right now it's obviously too low. But once I made it into, like, onto the top of these posts, I'll know for sure, like, what things actually look like. Because I need to make sure it's not going to get in the way of the spinner. That's that plastic. And if I wrap this around this way, it could almost get in the way of the spinner, so I don't really want to do that. But this is going to be good enough. If I needed to, I could pull this over here and up a little bit, but I don't think that's going to be that big of a deal. The ball's not going to get stuck in and around here. There's plenty of space for the cabling to be able to get down and through into the hole down back there, which is important, because it's going to, when the cable comes out, it's going to have a little bit of a loop type of thing. So it's not just going to go straight down. I need to be able to account for the flex of the cable. This over here, I mean, there's nothing really preventing me from pulling this down and around. You know? But I still think I rather just make a sculpt that covers this thing. Like, it's something that looks like a big leaf that just wraps around this whole section. So it's more theme appropriate, and it just looks better, and it still serves the same purpose of protecting, deflects into that point. Oops. All right, so that's that plastic. That was really the other big plastic I wanted to make today. Is now everything underneath the pumpkin. If I show the pumpkin again, devices, pumpkin. You can see the pumpkin. Well, obviously he's not sitting quite in the right spot, but the pumpkin is now right above the plastic. His flange will be right above the plastic. Let's actually get him above the plastic. Float. Come on. Float. Damn it all. Mouse. Float. And then the offset here is not 1 1/4. It's 1 7/16. Pull it up a little bit higher. Might not even need to be that high. Oh, that's good. That gives it a little bit of playroom there. So you can see the pumpkin is a little bit higher, and it's when this ramp actually comes down, there's no place for the ball to really go back here. I mean, I guess you could argue the ball could fit in there. And in the back here, it's unlikely the ball is going to really get back here. I guess you could argue it could. All right, so there's a couple spots it probably could get into with the pumpkin there. And well, the ramp is bending down a little bit more along this section. If I fix this and pull this, not this, pull this out a little. Come on, really? Oh, there's like another thing over there? No, there isn't. And pull this kind of to here. That'll prevent the ball from getting into that, I think. Right? I do want this to be fix this also. I do want this to be more along the line, along this line. So that I think should prevent the ball from really getting in there. And then over here, pull this. Come on. If I pull this up to here, that prevents the ball over there for the most part. I think this is going to be good enough for a first pass. Yeah, I think that's going to be good enough for a first pass. Because this whole section of the ramp here is bending down. And by the time it gets right here, it's going to be high enough for the plastic to go underneath. But over here is still going to be a little diagonal, and I don't want this to wrap all the way around the pumpkin. I want you to be able to get it in from this side. Which actually reminds me also, this right here actually should be a slot. I think. No, I'll leave it as that. No, I'm gonna make it a slot, so that way you don't have to take the ramp off. So this thing, get rid of that. Give this the association instead, or the sizing instead, and then this thing. This arc is the same size as this. This should come like that. Okay, so now you can slide this in here without having to take the ramp off, because this is on this this sandwich here, like, this post and this thing. So if you just loosen this post a little bit, you'll be able to slide this whole thing out and then slide it back in, bind the post back down. And it's easier to do like a half turn of this post with a little wrench to get the thing off than to have to take the ramp off to then take this post off to then take this up and out of a post, because this post right here is a bumper post that has thread on top. Okay, uh, so it complicates things a little bit. Everything over here, these are all just 632 screws, but this is a bumper post with a thread on top, so you have to be able to lift the thing up and off. So doing this should fix that problem. Okay. So now that we have that, bottom guides. I didn't save any of those. Okay, now that we have that, if I go into my CNC for plastics, so I have already started laying some of these things out. I can now take that other plastic. Where is it? It's under here, parts, plastics. So this thing, and I can find a spot to put it, which it looks like it'll fit like right over in here. Yes, I can rotate it if I wanted to. I'm trying not to rotate it if I can help it. Simple reasoning, if I rotate these things when I go to draw the art on it, it makes it more complex to figure out what orientation the art needs to be. By keeping it orthogonal to what it's supposed to be, or the rotation to what it's actually designed to be. Actually, that fits nicely right in there, at least for now. By keeping it the rotation that I feel it needs to be, or that it's supposed to be with on the playfield, now I can draw everything like the correct perspective and correct orientation instead of having to rotate the canvas around and figure out all weird things. It's a me thing. It's a me thing, and I am actually going to put this down here, because if I put this down here, that gives me bigger space here. I do have. That's not going to really fit up in here. Actually, this will fit up in here. This will fit right here. That gives me a big swath of space for the left side where the slingshot is, which I've been thinking about it, and I might completely redesign that left ramp and slingshot shot, and that whole thing. I might completely scrap that and change it, but I'll see after I test it. Put you in a little bit more. I can put you up here more. Yeah, I mean that's tight, but it fits. And it now with the laser it wouldn't matter, but with my CNC machine it matters a little bit more. Let's see what's the distance here. I have, yeah, let's choose top. I have a 3 or a 1/8 inch. Okay, so that just fits through there, which is fine. Over here, that fits in there fine. Up here, oh yeah, this fits up here perfectly fine. pull this. Pull this even closer. That still fits in there fine. That still fits in there. And yeah, I mean, I can fit that closer like that. Yeah. Can't really go over anymore. Okay, this one I need to modify. Before I forget, because you'll see in a second when I pull this up. Ow. I did make the administrative decision to use only 3/4 inch on these tab things, and with how it's designed, this won't fit. So if I go and I edit the part, and I go and I take this shape, pull this down to here, pull this up to here. Now it'll fit. Now there's enough space for me to put the 3/8 inch. I'm sorry, the 3/4 inch instead of the 1/2 inch. Okay, that's why I did that, and then that'll prevent the ball from thrashing left and right more. What is going on here? Edit, rebuild. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, that just has a really tall, weird. Okay, I'm not concerned about that at the moment. All right, so now after making that change, if I go back to my layout, then this is now chipped off over there, and this I can probably put over here. Yeah. Put that right, or even put it in the middle almost. Um, Now this one, no, this one does have art on it, doesn't it? So I really shouldn't. Well, this one is going to actually be bigger eventually because I think I have plans for it. So I'll leave that there for now. And I want to maybe put a big leaf on it or some such eventually. So it's going to not necessarily fit here. It might fit over here. I put it here, and then a leaf comes down and around this way. You know? I'll put it up there for now. Okay, so this is my layout that I'm going to cut. And yes, I do have a big open space down here. That's all right. I can use that for another plastic that I'm not going to define right now, later on, or additional protecting plastics. Because all these little gaps here, 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 inside of these things, they can all be used for little small protecting, don't let the ball go in this area, stupid type of plastics. Okay, let's save. I'll save as do a PDF first. Then let's save as DXF. DX. Why am I blanking on this? Oh, this isn't a. This isn't a drawing. Hang on a second. CNC. File. Make drawing from assembly. Okay. 24-inch by 32-inch. That's the size of my plastic. Scale needs to be 1:1. I do not want annotations. Make it inches. I don't want detailing and annotations. Okay. That can go right on in there. Ish. All right, now I can save this. I don't need this sketch. I don't need this sketch. File, save. Yep. File, save. PDF. And save as a DXF. There we go. All right, so that takes care of all of that. And now laser web. No, not laser web. I'm sorry. Inkscape. Bring the plastics in. Hairline it because of course I need to. Properties. This is 24 by 36. These guys come all the way down to here. All right, so when I do the plastics, I'm doing two parts. The first part is going to be all these inner holes, and then the second part is going to be the shapes. If I try to do, and I am going to do these smaller holes as a separate pass because I'm using a 1/8 inch tool, so I'm going to need to Mickey Mouse a little bit with some of the really teeny tiny rivet holes here. But that aside, I'm going to do a pass for the holes and a pass for the shapes. That way, I don't have floating plastics that don't have holes because of the way that things might or might not decide to cut when I do the tool paths. Group. All right, so we'll start off with all these 1/8 inch holes, which again are the exact size of the tool, which means I need to make sure that I get those cut properly in a special way. They're effectively going to be more so drill operations than cut operations. Path, combine. The name of this is going to be small or holes small. No stroke. Fill will be dark, be blue. Okay. Now all the other holes are normal sized holes. Yeah. Okay, so these the place where the ball drops, I consider a hole also. I need to make sure I don't see. I need to make sure I don't grab any of these pieces because that would be bad. This is a set of paths. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's see if I screwed up. So by combining this, I'm going to call this holes misc. And if I zoom in so I can see what I'm doing, and hide holes misc. Let's see if I. That's oh, I missed one. This one over here, but it doesn't look like I grabbed anything I wasn't supposed to grab. So let's grab that other hole. Okay, now let's merge everything together. We'll give this. We'll make this black. Get rid of the stroke. The holes misc. That looks fine. Okay, and now the rest of these, this is all just the shape. So I can just grab it all and, whoop, not that. I can grab it all and turn it into a, basically a single pass. Path, combine, merge, and no stroke. The fill is going to be cyan because, you know, that's glass color, question mark. Reshape. There's all the holes, there's the shapes. Let's save this. Make sure that I don't have to redo this again. It's going to be plastics layout 24 by 36 by 0.8, 0.08, no, I'm sorry, 0.09, which is the size of the plastics. Yeah, so I'll save it as that. Okay, now I got to add all the tabs. And for plastics, there are a lot of them. So this will take a hot minute to do. That's in the back. You're not going to see that, so that doesn't matter. Yeah, so this is tricky right there. These are actually really, really fat tabs. Not the pH kind. I can thin these out a little bit. I'll come back to some of those other odd-shaped ones in a moment. I'll try to get more of the orthogonal ones. Oh, I guess I need to start rotating. Deal with some of these things. I don't want to do anything on the insides because, again, it makes it really, really difficult to sand that stuff off. So I can avoid that, I'm going to. This is definitely finicky along here. Want the vibration there. That's going to be hard to get in there. There's going to be a lot of tabs on this. Again, because I'm using a CNC router, which is not exactly ideal for this kind of thing, it makes it quite a bit more difficult to, or you need to have quite a bit more tabs than you would, say, a laser cutter, which eventually I want to get a laser cutter. Not really an ideal spot for that. This part is going to be a pain in the butt to clean up. I don't need that many tabs on it. These ones really do need to have a couple more tabs than normal because of what they are. That one's less difficult to trim off. Okay, that's got most of them, I think. Yeah, like I said, there's going to be a lot of tabs on this thing. Make sure I don't have any issues with the cut. On hand. Why don't I have any holes on this? This has a bunch of holes. Why don't I have any holes on this? What? Wait a minute. This is the left side. Why don't I have any holes on this? I don't have any. Do I not have holes defined on this? Are you kidding me? Hold on a second. This was almost a disaster. Plastics left ramp. Isolate. Okay, no, that one has it. Isolate. I don't have any holes on this. All right, well, I need to make these holes. Ugh, oy vey. Oy vey. This is kind of important. Let's. Can I just hide all the hardware? That stuff is kind of in the way. Yeah, because now this way, I can set this to a schematic view. Oh my God, there's a whole lot of holes that don't even actually exist. What the hell? Ow. Ow, my hand is really bothering me right now. There's a lot of holes that just flat out don't exist. Exit. God damn my hand. All right. Need the slam pad. Yep, I'm missing most of them. Boy, oh boy, that would have been bad. Can I not ease? Ow. Ow! Jesus, my arm is bothering me like fucking molasses right now. Come on, let me finish this up. Really bananas that I didn't have these things defined in this. Okay, so there's that one. Now hide the hardware again. Yeah, see, there's all those holes. That's what I. The other one is. Ugh. Edit part. Sketch. I make sure they're all in there. So the fact that they weren't in there bothers me. I don't need that one. All right, and these are all equal, and they are 316. That's all of them good. Extrude cut through all. Now I have all of those. View, display. Edit. Show. Really? Ow. Sorry, my hand is acting up more than normal this morning. I don't quite know why. On hardware, go. Slam pad, go. All right. It has holes all in there now. It has holes all there now. Okay. Save that. Pumpkin King. I'll save this because it's now been modified a little bit. I'll save. I'll open up the plastics. Now all those holes are in there. Save. Open up the drawing. Now all those holes are in there. Save. Save as PDF. Save as DXF. Okay. Now let's reload the DXF. And add in the missing holes. I'm glad I caught this. That would have angered me like you can't believe. All right. Let's align this. Enable snapping. Align this to there. Let's. Okay, so the tabs I can group together. Group, combine, tabs. I can group these together. Group. Okay, and then I can ungroup this. Reason being, I have all these paths again, and I don't want to get overly confused with what's what, and I don't want to delete something by accident that I didn't want to actually delete. Nope. Case in point, I accidentally deleted something I didn't want to delete. And I only need the holes that I didn't have previously. I don't need all the other ones that were already combined. That's all of those. Ow. Yeah. Combine. Okay, then I can take this path, hide it. Take this group, hide it. Now I can select all these other ones. Ungroup this. Holes miscellaneous can combine with this one. Stroke, none, fill, black. Holes, misc. Bump this down. All right, now I have all my holes. Oi, oi vey. Hi, Aaron. Happy Valentine's Day to you too. My wife doesn't get up until the afternoon, so I'm letting her sleep. What was I doing? Right. So now that I have this all set up, I can bring this into LaserWeb. I can get the toolpaths done. I think I have enough tabs on here. I guess I'll find out when I cut it this afternoon. All right. LaserWeb. I need plastics. Okay. So the first pass is going to be these small things, and right now I have the 2mm. I'm sorry. Do something. I have the 1/8 inch tool, which is 3.175 millimeters. We're uh-huh. I see. Right. Um, yeah, 3.175 millimeters. So I'm gonna create single mill cut inside. This is small holes. 3, Z is 5. Start is 0, end is gonna be, so this is like 0.8, so it's like an eighth, so it's like 3mm deep, so I'm gonna call it 4mm. Pass depth is gonna be 1mm. Final cut width, yeah, tool diameter is 3.175. 108, 400. This can be, that doesn't matter. We can make it 500. Let's see if this generates here. That did not generate because this tool is exactly that size. So let's try this. That did it. This is why I made those holes separate, because they're the same exact size as the tool, so it doesn't always like to work with that. So those holes are going to be a slight tickle larger, but 0.1 inch larger, but that's fine for these. It's just for rivets, so that's okay. That allows me a little bit of play for the rivet too. All right, so that's that one. Next is going to be the normal holes. Right, single mill cut inside. Holes. 5, start, ends, -4, pass 1. 3.175. I can use the real tool diameter now. 108, 300, cut rate, 500. So this should work without a problem with everything. Yeah, this bounces around to all of these holes, no problem. Okay. And finally, the shape. Single mill cut outside. The tabs need to be added in now. That's this one. So the tabs in this case, I'm going to make it as a depth of 0 because I can just take a hammer and chisel and bang through it. If I put even like 1 millimeter depth, maybe it will cut through it in some situations, and I don't want to risk that. So 0 is more or less a guarantee that it's very, very unlikely to cut through it, even if the 0 point is not quite right. Mill cut. This one was mill cut inside. This one is mill cut outside. Shapes. 3, 5, start, end, -4, 1, 3.175, step of plunge rate, 400, cut rate. These have a lot of curves in them. I'm gonna say 300. Again, if I have, well, I'll do 400. Again, with my router, because this program changes everything to line segments, it'll like thrash and whip around if I put too high of a thing. So having a 400 with all these curves, it should work fine. All right. Okay, that gets in all of those spots. All right. So let's generate everything now. So before I do that, I'll save this. Make sure that I don't lose it. Now I'll generate everything. And I'll save this. So plastic. And this is 3.175.nc. It's actually 24 by 24. All right. So the toolpaths are all set. Things should be ready to go. This afternoon, I'm going to cut this stuff. I will stream it. I'll set the camera up. It's probably only going to be like a 20 or 30-minute stream for that. And this isn't going to take that long to do, I don't think. So part B will be later on. So see y'all.